the gap at the Premier League table 9 points, and both the top two and Arsenal don't play. Both Arsenal and City don't play this weekend. Who will gain charge on? Who will put themselves into contention for third place in the league, and also will happen down at the bottom of the Premier League? Yes.
Liverpool are the champions for their people, with their people. Declan Rice! Oh, it's a ripper! Marmoush! Oh, that's magnificent! The young guns of Chelsea claim the Champions League prize. Newcastle will be playing Champions League football again. Now 20 times the champions of England, Liverpool.
Both City and Arsenal do not play because they are in League Cup action final on this game, because that will also be in the video. But for now, we'll start. Boys, if you want a discount on your energy, go and get my discount in the description. New Dan 10 at checkout. Peace. With AFC Bournemouth and Manchester United. Now, AFC Bournemouth in their last game drew 0-0 at Turf Moor to Burnley. Yes, that is their fourth consecutive draw for Bournemouth. 5 out of the last 6 games have all been draws. They've done 14 games here. And against a Manchester United team who stamped their authority on the Premier League, well, on the third place. Another display from Bruno Fernandes. He is, I think, this week's star player again. Yes, Bruno Fernandes, Premier League player of the game again. He has now equalled David Beckham's record for most Premier League by assists for Man United in 100 games and in games, and also he is now 3 away from the record of most assists in one season. Blimmin' hell, he is a player and a half. But in this game against Bournemouth, he's gone the last 3 meetings of Bournemouth. Can we get the win of him this time by 3-1? Will Benjamin Sesko star again? Sesko, he probably will. And Josh, what are you saying in this game? Yes, Josh is back.
Hi, Dan's channel. I think it's game week 31 of the Premier League predictions. I'm so happy to be on this video with Dan. Thank you for inviting me again, as usual. And yeah, it's getting towards the end of the Premier League season now. It's getting interesting. And yeah, my team Spurs are in a relegation battle. Daniel's team, Man United, trying to get top 4. Yeah, very, very exciting at the moment. So yeah, let's start my predictions. Starting with Dan's team, the first game is Bournemouth at home against Man United. And, you know, I think Bournemouth started the season well and then they dropped off massively. But I think in the last 10 games or so, they're winning consistently. Yeah, they're mid-table, they're not bad. But Man United, fair play. From being near the bottom last season to now being in the third place at the moment, they're going to get top 4 in my opinion. Man United are building something quite good. And I think this is going to be a really good game. I'm going to go for Bournemouth 2, Man United 3.
We head to Saturday and to Brighton and Hove Albion with Liverpool. Now, Brighton and Hove Albion played against Sunderland, and by a very weird, strange goal from Kubiminte. It was meant to be a cross, but it turned out to be a shot. That is Brighton's 4th win. That's their 3rd win in their last 6 after 2 losses. And against a Liverpool team who obviously drew 1-1 to Tottenham Hotspur. To be fair though, Spurs could have lost. But Liverpool do sit 5th in the league for only 3 points behind Aston Villa, another 6 behind United in this game, I can see it being a 2-1 win to Liverpool. And Josh, what are you saying in this game we had?
There's Brighton at home against Liverpool. Interesting one, because Brighton, they've not been great. They're definitely going to survive, but they've not been great. They're probably just going to hit like 46 points. You know, it's not amazing, but they'll be okay. Liverpool, for their standards, have been awful. You know, they might not get top 5 or top 4 now. It's just not looking good, but they had a really good 4-0 win in the Champions League recently. I think that's going to give them a bit of positivity to win this game, but I think it will be tight. I'm going to go 2-1 to Liverpool.
To 3 p.m. and one game at 3 p.m. and it is down in London. It's on the River Thames for Fulham and Burnley. Now Fulham do 0-0. Oh, who's there? And they're playing Burnley, who do 0-0. So both these teams played out a 0-0 draw. Look, to be fair, Fulham's 11th and looking quite comfortable in the league, and against a Burnley team who need their points if they want to survive the drop. Obviously, draw 0-0. They now sit only 9 points off the drop, or 9 points above. Well, they sit now 9 points below West Ham and 8 points behind Forest. Can they do it? Probably they can't. They can't do it. But against a Fulham team who do it, can I say this they can do it? I probably can't. I'm not taking a piss, but no. I'm going to go a 1-0 win to Fulham. We would have had
Burnley. Again, Fulham are mid-table, just a solid Premier League team. And Burnley, they've had a bit of fight recently, but it's too little too late. They're going to go down. I don't think much will happen in this game, to be honest. But because of home advantage, I think Fulham will nick it. Maybe just a 1-0 win for Fulham.
Man City, but obviously that game is being postponed due to the League Cup final. So we head to 5:30, one game at 5:30. It is Everton v Chelsea. Now, we'll start off with our hosts. Everton lost 2-0 to Arsenal after 2 goals in the last dying embers of that game. We can't talk about Arsenal yet because obviously they're not playing this game week. However, Everton, to be fair, do look bloody good. They're 8th in the league, chasing a European spot, and against a Chelsea team who obviously who had a surprise defeat to Newcastle United. Yes, but I mean, to be fair, both these teams in very good amount of form right now. Both teams chasing Europe. Chelsea chasing down now Liverpool as well because they've fallen. Because Chelsea now sit 6th place, a point behind Liverpool. If they want to keep their top 4 hopes going, they need to win games like this. 2-1 to Chelsea. And Josh, what are you saying in this game?
Chelsea, very interesting game for me because everyone would say Chelsea are the favourites, but Chelsea have been poor recently. They're struggling to get that top 5. They're just not winning consistently, and that was embarrassing for them against PSG. And Everton are actually pushing for Europe. Like they're high mid-table right now. Everton look really solid. So I would edge it for Chelsea normally, but I think Everton can get something from this game. So I'm going to go for a good game but a draw. 2-2.
Head to Leeds v Brentford. Now, Leeds drew 0-0 to Crystal Palace. A lot of 0-0 draws happening in this game week. Apart from that, let's just say we had a penalty Leeds had a penalty in the 43rd minute, which Dominic Calvert-Lewin put one on the post. Don't ask me how he did that, but yes, Dominic Calvert-Lewin had a goal walled at both teams. Both teams had a goal walled at offside in that game. Amon Goodmunson got himself sent off, and against a Brentford team who drew 2-2 to bottom of the table Wolves. Another goal for Iago Thiago. He's earned his first Brazilian national team call-up. So congratulations to him. I can see this game being a 2-2 draw here. And Josh, what are you saying in this game?
Against Brentford, I reckon this could be the game of the game week, like the most exciting game in my opinion. I reckon 4 or 5 goals minimum in this game. Brentford are looking good. They're high mid-table. They're trying to get Europe. I'm surprised they've done that well. Leeds are in a relegation battle, but I think they're only 1 win or 2 wins away from being safe, maybe a couple of draws. Leeds will probably be safe. But in this game, I don't know. I think I might edit to Brentford, but I think it's going to be a really good game from both of them. I'm going to go 3-2 to Brentford.
Only 3 games on Sunday. Obviously, you could have got League Cup as well, but we're going to start with take 2 of the time we're derby. Newcastle and Sunderland now. Newcastle won 1-0 against Chelsea, and Sunderland drew, and Sunderland lost 0. Sunderland lost to Brighton in the game. But I can see this though. Sunderland did win the last meeting of these 2 teams back when these 2 teams played again at St James's Park. Boy, this atmosphere will be incredible. Can Newcastle win it? It's a 12 o'clock kickoff. 2-1 or 2-0? 1-0. Newcastle, Sunderland, and Josh, what are you saying in the second instalment of the Time We're Derby?
And Sunderland, obviously Newcastle got battered in the Champions League to Barcelona, but they are Barcelona. What can you do? Newcastle, they're only mid-table. They've not been as good as they can be this season, let's be honest. But we know what they can do on their day with the players they've got. Sunderland, they've dropped off massively now because they're safe now, pretty much. But they're still not bad when they want to be, good. They can be good. Home advantage, it's a big derby game. I think Newcastle might have this one. I'll go 2-0 Newcastle.
We head to Aston Villa and West Ham United. This game has complications at the top and the bottom. Obviously, Villa losing 3-1 tonight, and somehow West Ham picking up a point against Chelsea, against Man City. That's the first. That is West Ham out of the drop zone since the first time in December, being replaced by Nottingham Forest. But if results, to be fair, the next game in the league is massive. But I'm going to go West Ham, Aston Villa. Villa want to win for their top four. Keep your Championship hopes alive. 2-1 Aston Villa and Josh. Which in this game, now we head
against West Ham. Villa have dropped off a little bit recently, but they're still in that top 4 for a reason because they've been good this season. Good win in the Europa League for them as well against Lille. And West Ham are in a relegation battle. They are getting some results at the moment. They are, causing problems for Nottingham and Tottenham. They're looking good, West Ham, for where they are in the league. I think Villa away is going to be a bit too tricky for them, though. So I'm going to go 3-1 to Villa.
To one of the biggest games of the season. This is Tottenham Hotspur and Nottingham Forest. This, at the time of filming this is 18th, this is 17th, and this is 17th and 16th in the league. West Ham sit 18th in the drop zone. Forest and Spurs both sit above that drop zone. If let's say Forest was to win this and Spurs pick up a point, Spurs, they haven't won. Spurs haven't won a game in the league since November. They are on a horrendous run of Spurs, on an absolute torrid run of Spurs. That's Iago Tudor's first point as manager. Obviously, a 1. Anyway, against a 40 million saying. I'm going to say, in this game, it's going to be a 2-1 win for Forest. Sorry, Josh, but I can't see Spurs win this game. And Josh, what are you saying? And what do you think of it is in this game? And
probably the most important game of this game week. My boys Tottenham against Nottingham Forest. I'm so nervous. This is a massive game because we're both in a relegation battle. And I was thinking 50-50. I wasn't too confident really at first. But after our recent good performances against Atletico and Liverpool, I'm a bit more positive about this game. I believe, the confidence we'll take from those games and we can win this game. I believe we can. We've got to try and be as positive as we can in this bad situation. So I believe we'll win this game. If we don't, then all hell will break. But I believe we can win this one. It's going to be tight. I reckon we could do it there. I reckon we could win 2-0.
We head to the League Cup final between the Kings League Cup 4:30 Arsenal and Man City. Now, both these teams have been in good form in the league. Could this game have a huge say on which way the title race will go? If City win, there'll be confidence. If Man City win, they'll have behind confidence. If Arsenal win, you think that Arsenal will go on and win the league. But to be fair, this game could have massive complications in the league, but focus on winning the first silverware of the season, which we got away of Man City. I just think Man City's team are stronger than Arsenal's. They got more quality, more Pep knows how to win a final. But I think City have not been on the best of ones recently, Man City. In fact, they have drawn their last 2 games they have drawn the last 2 games, Man City, but in fact, it's Man City. You know what to expect when you play against a Man City team. I'm going to go Arsenal. Arsenal 1, Manchester City 2. They went late. And Josh, what are you saying in the League Cup final, my man? And
the cup games are not involved in the Premier League predictions and stuff, but Dan's told me to do it for just a bit of fun. It's the cup final, Man City against Arsenal. Both teams doing well this season. Arsenal definitely more consistent than Man City. I think that's their trophy that they're going to definitely get. The Premier League, they're going to win that now. I don't think, Man City are out of the Champions League, and I don't think Arsenal will win the Champions League. And I think the FA Cup might go to someone like Man City. They might find a way to win that. But with this cup final, in the Carabao Cup, I'm going to go very tight game, not too exciting. I'm going to go 1-1 in 90 minutes, 0-0 in extra time, and then I think Arsenal will win it on penalties. I think they'll win this trophy, and that will give them the confidence to get the Premier League done and dusted, and I think they'll win 2 trophies, Arsenal. I think Arsenal win on penalties. I'm going to say they'll win 5-3 on penalties, and they're going to win the Carabao Cup. My predictions on, I think I rambled on quite a lot with some of these predictions, but it's the conclusion of the Premier League. It's getting towards the end of the league now, so there's a lot more to say now because we have more opinions about the teams at the moment. So, let me know what you guys think of the predictions, and subscribe to Dan, subscribe to me, and thank you for having me. See you soon.
that will bring the Premier League to an end. No Premier League next week due to the international break. So the next Premier League match day you'll see is April the 10th and 11th. Yes, due to an international break. So no Premier League now for 2 weeks, I want to say. For 3 weeks. For 3 weeks. No games over Easter. Oh, FA Cup, that's why. FA Cup, obviously, FA Cup is not next weekend, but yeah. Premier League returns on the 10th and 11th and 12th and 13th of April. But I'll leave you with what will happen in the top half. Will Spurs, Forest, and West Ham be any more further apart, or will the gap be the same? What will happen at the top? Will United close on City and Arsenal, or will Villa, Liverpool, and Chelsea all win and heap more pressure on that battle? Find out a lot more. But now I'll see you lot on Monday for a Women's Champions League knockout stages. But for now, what will happen in the Premier League? But for now, goodbye in the Premier League.